What do you say yes to? And what are you saying no to? Every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. Tune in to discover the power of no so that you are saying yes to you. So welcome to the Biz Success in 15 podcast. I'm your host, Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and I'm here to guide you as you step into who you are with outrageous confidence for more visibility, influence, and profits. You can get your visibility checklist at visibilitychecklist.com. And today I'm honored to have Bridget Sobas with us, and we're going to be speaking about the power of no to say yes to you. Bridget's the power, joy, and profits mentor. Her powerful breakthrough sessions clear the stops and allow you to own your own power to take control of your future. Welcome, Bridget. It's an honor to have you.
I'm honored to be here, Cindy.
Okay, great. So let's just step right in. First, I'd love to know, how did you become the power of no mentor?
Yeah, okay, so I've been an entrepreneur for over 17 years, and I hired a coach when I first took over. My first business was a hair salon, and I don't know if you know anything about the salon industry, but it's very highly emotional, and it can be run by a lot of negative emotions and limiting beliefs. And back then, 17 years ago, I hired a consultant, and he helped me put systems in place into my business. And actually, because I had systems in place in my business, it gave me a lot of freedom to grow the business. Because when I first took it over, I was a six-figure earner working in the business. And then I bought this salon, and then I became this dysfunctional mess of an owner, lost my six-figure paycheck. Yeah. And systems and structures actually supported me on growing a very successful business. And there was also a part of me during that time that had a really hard time. I was a big people pleaser. I call Wonder Woman stunt double. I was very run by negative emotions and feelings, and the systems and structures of having that in place actually, I guess I want to maybe use the word saved me back then, right. But I still had this running thing always in the back of my mind.
Right. I do think that structures and systems is the key to any successful business. So, I can totally see how it saved your business and helped you grow and expand, both for your business and also personally. I mean, you need to, my first mentor always told me you can only grow your business as fast as you grow yourself.
Yes.
And systems and structures don't have to be hard. They just have to make sense for you.
Yeah, exactly. So that really supported me, and I grew an award-winning business. I became a coach and consultant myself. And then throughout the years, like, I had some pretty devastating things happen to me. Like, I went through divorce. Mm-hmm. Then because of divorce, I was in $1.3 million of debt. And then I decided to buy my business back and file bankruptcy. That was a whole nother thing that led me into survival mode. And I had breast cancer, which we're all free and clear of, by the way. And yes. And I'm very mindful of language and the power of instilling thoughts in others. Mm-hmm. So throughout that journey, I was bending over backwards. Sometimes I felt for people. I had really people pleasing especially when I was trying to buy my own business back from bankruptcy. People pleasing kicked into high gear. Wonder Woman stunt double was a nickname that I had for a survival mechanism that I used to have, where I was doing everything for everyone and then getting the crap kicked out of me. There were times when I was paying everybody else first, and then I wasn't paying myself, but I was working really hard.
Right.
So over that journey, I finally was like, I cannot live like this anymore. This is not working. So I actually started doing unconscious mind work. and learning NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnosis. And when I started healing that inner child, like the triggers that were really triggering me to be a people pleaser, and then reinvented my life, and then started the Power and Joy Coaching Academy. That is how I decided to become the Power, Joy, and Profits mentor.
Okay. Love it. Absolutely love it. So, would you say that we all have a Wonder Woman stunt double? And if so, how can we identify our own Wonder Woman stunt double?
Yes, I've actually come across lots of female entrepreneurs that can completely relate to that. So I would say you really are putting everybody else in front of you. Mm-hmm. You're completely putting yourself on the back burner. You're depleting yourself. You're exhausted. You're burnt out. You're just a doing machine. And that's where, like, like it's Wonder Woman's there to save the day, but it's her stunt double that gets the crap kicked out of her, really.
Right.
Yeah. So I would just say, if you're going to identify with that, like, are you saying yes to everybody else? So, like, you're seriously like burning what is that term? Burning the candle at both ends.
Oh, yeah. And it's crazy. I know we were talking about it before the call, how we just say yes because we think we should do something. I remember a long time ago, after I divorced my first husband, started dating my current husband, my first husband's niece was getting married. And she's like, Aunt Cindy, I want you at the wedding. And I'm like, honey, I really don't think I should go because I don't think all of that family, I'm not a part of that family anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And she just started crying. It's like, Aunt Cindy, it would mean so much to me if you were there. You've been my aunt since the day I was born. And so on the day of the wedding, my current husband was at my house and I'm getting dressed to go to this wedding. And the whole time I'm like, I don't want to go. 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 And he's like, well, why in the hell are you going then? Oh, because I have to, right? Yeah. I should. I promised her I would. I mean, and whenever you get married, I mean, I might have talked to her for a minute because she was busy getting married and being with everybody else. And it was like the worst time of my life, but it really taught me, like, why am I saying yes to something that I don't want to do?
Yeah, that's actually bringing up I actually did say no to go into this wedding. But it's so funny because of other people's like judgments and opinions on you, how easily you could be swayed to do something you don't want to. Like, there was an ex-employee of mine that left my business, and anyway, that's another story itself. And she invited me to my wedding. She invited me to her wedding. Okay. Mm-hmm. And after a while, after thinking about it, I was like, I am not going to this wedding for the reasons I decided to not go. And but I had another employee of mine, and we had dual relationships at the time. I can't tell you how many times this person said to me, you really should have gone to that wedding. You should have been there. Like, it's none of your business, first and foremost. But it can easily happen that like someone else is going to put their judgment and opinion on you of what you quote unquote should do.
Right. And the whole problem with should is that whenever we say we should do something, we're making ourselves wrong if we don't do it. So then we beat ourselves up. And I know you talk about being deliciously selfish.
Yeah.
So can you explain to us what that means?
Yes, I love using that term. You get to be deliciously selfish, because what that ultimately means is I'm all about work. Like, first and foremost, working with myself and then with my clients, like we have to fill up our cup first. We got to fill up our cup, source ourselves, so that at the end of the day, our cup starts overflowing into other people. So when we get to be deliciously selfish, we actually take care of ourselves first, so we can even be a better version of ourselves to serve the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. So that's what my version of deliciously selfish.
I love that. I love that term. And I know the beginning of 2022, I always pick a theme for the year. Yes. So my theme at the beginning of 2022 was me first. And sort of half jokingly, I say you should be careful what you ask for.
Oh,
But
yeah.
on January 9th, I got COVID. I was sick the entire year. I was in ICU for 3.5 weeks. I did not have a fun time of it. But from being so sick and literally knocking at death's door, it forced me to put me first.
Yeah.
And what I find so interesting now is I still don't have the same stamina where I would burn the candle at both ends. Like I would work from 8 o'clock in the morning till midnight every day. Like it just like if I was home, I was working, period.
Yeah.
But I can't do that anymore physically because still some of the long COVID side effects. And it's so interesting to me because I actually get more work done in less time.
Yes, I'm so glad that you shared that, because my story is that in the beginning of 2022, I had just launched Power and Joy Coaching Academy like a few months earlier. And then very beginning, I'm like so excited. I got this second brand new company. I love what I do. And then I got diagnosed again. We're all free and clear of it. But I got diagnosed with breast cancer for a second time. And I was like, at first, I talked to one of my mentors. I was like, I don't know if I can continue on, like being in your program, building this new business, all these things. And then I made this decision. I was like, okay, I'm going to just do what I have to do, get my surgery done, go through chemo, go through radiation. And through all that, I worked 50% less than I normally would in a year. And I made over 6 figures in revenue doing it.
Exactly.
My first full year of business. So you can absolutely work less and make more money.
Yeah. And it's interesting how many people I've spoken to, other colleagues, where, they have their 6 and even 7-figure businesses that they created while they're sick. And I think it's because whenever we're sick, we have to really choose what's more important versus not. But you don't have to be sick to build a successful
Exactly. Business. Yes. You can be extremely healthy. You're all healthy.
Just learn to be deliciously selfish. That's what it's all about.
Yes, deliciously selfish.
And so I love this term also that I've heard you use a few times, is being the itty bitty shitty committee. So
okay.
Who is the itty bitty shitty committee?
Yes. So the itty bitty shitty committee is that negative self-talk that may go through your head. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough. That's what I call the itty bitty shitty committee. And that voice is not the truth. Just unfortunately, through like us growing up as children, a lot of times from the ages of like 0 to 7, we unconsciously create these belief systems, and then this itty bitty shitty committee gets developed, and it, in some really weird way, it serves to protect us, but it actually is like, it can keep us stuck and not moving forward in our lives. So I'm all about telling that itty bitty shitty committee to get out of my car.
Right.
Not go in the back seat, just get out of my car.
I call them our gremlins. And I always say, put the gremlins in the corner.
Gotcha.
Put them in the corner and have them be quiet, because they're never, ever going to 100% go away. But it's so interesting, all these beliefs we have that we formed in childhood, they actually served us when we were 6 or 7 years old. But as an adult, they don't serve us and they harm us.
Yeah. So it's really just getting present and clear to like, okay, this thought no longer serves me. It's time to reframe it and tell yourself positive things. Tell yourself you're amazing, you're great, you're beautiful, all those types of things.
And no, regardless what has ever happened in your past, you can't change your past, which is where the itty bitty shitty committee was formed. However, you can rewrite your past from a different perspective, leaving out all the emotions. And that's the easiest way to shut the itty bitty shitty committee up, or to kick them out of your car.
Out of the car.
And I always ask all of my guests to share a 15-minute action step for our listeners so that they can deepen the learning that they're getting throughout the podcast.
Yeah. So I would say a really great exercise to do is get out a sheet of paper and really get present to what are all the things that you've been tolerating in your life that are negative? What are all the things that you're saying yes to that actually aren't serving you? Like, just even write that list down. Spend 15 minutes really taking that time and writing it down. You'd be surprised at like the list of like 20 to 30 things that could be happening. It could be even as simple as like, oh, well, I've been tolerating that I'm not flossing my teeth. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just making that up. But like, you know what I mean? It could be very little and it could be very, very big. Like, you could be tolerating how someone is treating you. Right. Well, at the end of the day, we can only control ourselves, and we have to retrain people how to treat us, So that could,
and it could be a messy
little thing, and then one big thing.
Right. And what I love about this exercise that I do encourage all of you to do is simply by writing it down, you can never, ever, ever change anything unless you're aware of it.
Yes.
And writing it down is going to bring it to your awareness.
Yes.
It puts you in the power to change it.
Yes. I love that you said that, because we're like 95% of our behaviors is run at the unconscious level. And the practice is to bring those things more consciously aware, so that we have a choice to change our thoughts, patterns, and behaviors.
Exactly. And so why is letting go of those negative emotions so important? And do you have any tips on what we can do to let go of them?
Yes. Oh my God. Well, I feel like if you're really harboring negative emotions, they actually go into your cellular system. So that just having a healthy mind, body, and soul, that is for me one of the main reasons to release negative emotions. And here's the thing: when you release them, I find that you actually get to experience like anger in actually a healthier way. So now for me, like if you would have met me like 4 years ago and I talked to you about my bankruptcy, you would have saw me get angry all over again. It'd be like fuel to the fire. Now I can talk about my bankruptcy. It was just a circumstance. It's just something that had happened. And now when I get angry, I probably get angry on average. I'll get angry for 5 or 10 minutes. And then I feel my emotions, because emotions are healthy, to a certain extent. But then I get to be like, okay, so what happened? What do I need to pivot? What do I need to change? What are the positive things I learned? So I'm moving through it. Where before it used to be like fuel to the fire.
Right.
So an exercise that I like to share with people that's really simple and quick to start with is that you can do like even a clearing exercise. So when you do a clearing exercise, you can write down, and this is something you just want to probably tear up and throw away when you're done. Clearing exercise is just write down all the things that shouldn't be happening, all the negative emotions that you're experiencing, all the breakdown that's happening. Once you feel like you empty out, then you can move on to the next step, which is what's all the things you want? What do you want? Like, I'm always working on with myself and my clients. You got to focus on what you want. Focus on what you want. Because if you focus on what you don't want, your unconscious mind doesn't process the negative directly. Like, so if I say, do not think about a blue tree, do not think about a purple pig, do not think about your nose. So you got to focus on what you want. So write down what you want. Then the last step is what are you grateful for? What do you love? And you get present to that. So that is my lasered way to share about doing a clearing exercise.
I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing that. A little bonus for all the listeners. And, to me, gratitude is so huge. Once we start learning to be grateful for everything, and truly mean it, it's like magic happens in your life.
That's right.
And I know that you have a great gift for our listeners. Can you share what it is? And
Yeah. So it's the 3 biggest blocks to your coaching and consulting's exponential growth. So I really go over there and I talk about like reasons, like what mindset reasons on what could be getting in the way of moving you forward, like that people pleasing, the negative thought behaviors, behaviors in general. So it really walks through that. And then there's ideas in there to what to take on to like move through that. The reason I created it was because I've been a consultant for years. You know, as much as I put systems in place, I had done consulting for other small businesses. And I would find that I'd be like, here you go. Here's the system and everything you need. And their negative emotions and feelings would get in their way of them implementing the systems quicker, sooner, faster. Because if they felt like if they were going to put a job description in, they were worried about what their employees are going to think. If they were, you know, like if they had to talk about a budget with their team, well, clear out the negative emotions and the beliefs so you could powerfully talk about what a budget is for your team. So they're not, you know, not that fear of judgment isn't getting in the way. So those are the reasons why I created this guide.
I love that. And everything starts with mindset.
Yes.
And, you know, it's so interesting. The more I grow, the more I learn, the more I can spot it so quickly. But whenever you're in the depths of it, you don't realize it's mindset. You think it's strategy or doing something different. And sometimes it is, but 95% of the time it's mindset.
Yes, I would agree.
So I love that. So to our audience, you want to go to bizsuccessin15.com/blocks. So that's biz, B-I-C, success, S-U-C-C-E-S-S, N-I-N, the number 15.com/blocks, B-L-O-C-K-S. And you can download Bridget's gift to you, the 3 biggest blocks to your coaching business success. And Bridget, it's been great having you. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
You know, life is precious and urgent. It's like live a life you love, have a life by design, and be deliciously selfish.
I love it. Just deliciously selfish. I absolutely love that term. So thank you, Bridget. It's been a great having you as a guest.
My pleasure.
To our audience, remember to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/blocks to download the 3 biggest blocks to your coaching business success. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Biz Success in 15. And remember to always step into who you are with outrageous confidence.
Yes.
So big hugs and see you next week. Bye-bye.